Tottenham Hotspur 4, Crystal Palace 0. An absolute drumming in the second half from Antonio Conte's men. And for the first time since the World Cup, they turn up, they score goals, they deliver. They prove themselves to be one of the best teams in the English Premier League tonight. Sensational from Tottenham, especially in that second half. Harry Kane delivering again. A brilliant brace from him, especially his second goal. And we'll get on to why XG is a good statistic, but why players like Harry Kane break it is a myth. He's closing in on Sir Jimmy Greaves, I will say. His record is the highest goal scorer in Tottenham's history. Son on the score sheet along with Doherty tonight. And it was a big win. It was a big win for Tottenham. You can see the league table up next to me now. I'm looking at it as we speak. And the reason that this was so big, the reason this was such an important, big, massive win, I don't know why it's just gone all weird like that. Let's move it back there. Is that better? Hang on a sec. There we go. Is that better? There we go. That's what it's about. The reason it was such a big and important win for Tottenham is they were 5 points behind the top four tonight. And they could not afford to go into this run of games they've got, being 5 points behind Man United, 5 points behind fourth, with a game in hand. Hugely important. And look, first half again, Tottenham were not the races. First half again, Tottenham were not where they would want to be. The performance wasn't there, and Ayew should have squared the ball to I think it was Elise on the right hand side, and it could have been a different match altogether, but it wasn't. They went in at 0-0, and then from very early in the second half, it was a far more intense, far more together performance from Tottenham. Wonderful ball from Terrace for the first goal. Harry Kane dangerous at that back post. The second goal was so well taken. Excellent work out wide from Brian Hill. Ball plays in essentially, as we saw, to Harry Kane, and then Harry Kane buries it. And the shot from Kane that he put into that bottom corner was nothing short of sensational. That shot, said earlier on, is one of those goals that like debunks any kind of, not myths, but it's why I don't like GA. Because GA, no matter what striker, if it's Andre Ayew or Harry Kane, the GA score from that point, the percentage or the decimals it is the same. Well, it isn't. Harry Kane from that angle has far more chance of scoring than Andre Ayew, than Wilfried Zaha, Anthony Martial, whoever it may be. Brilliant finish from him, though. Sensational finish from him. Stellar goal. And then it was just easy pickings. Crystal Palace's heads went down. They were very open at the back, very easy to beat. And I think Spurs maybe could have gone on to score 2 or 3 more goals from that point. Did I say GA? I meant XG. You know exactly what I mean. Yes, that's what I mean. It's I get the stat, but the stat don't make sense because, well, it does make sense. That's probably the wrong way of looking at it, but it's not one that I use to overly judge a team. When a team's scoring above it's their XG, you have to look at who's in their team and why. That's why you pay for the better strikers, because they score goals that other strikers can't. That's why when people call Haaland and Harry Kane players like this tapping merchant, sometimes it makes my brain hurt, because if being a tapping merchant was so easy, everybody would indeed do it. Spurs fans happy? Was it convincing? And that's a question for Spurs fans. Let us know what you think. J Yid 14 says, "Come on, you Spurs," is what he's got to say here. Well, Spurs have won a game at Selhurst Park 4-0. What happened? Even most Spurs fans were waiting for the L today. Look, Spurs fans did go into this game really negatively. Spurs fans went into this game truly believing that they were going to lose. They did. 110%. They thought they were losing this game. But football doesn't always work that way. I mean, I went for a draw. I thought it was going to be a draw this match. But Spurs in the second half were sensational. They blew Palace away, and they deserved those 3 points. Harry Kane to United. I've seen a lot of people tweeting Harry Kane to Man United. Listen, Harry Kane, let's wait and see how the season ends before we talk about where Harry Kane may go in the summer. He has to win trophies to become a legend in football. Not at Tottenham. He's already a Tottenham legend. No one can take that status away from him. The fans have crowned it to him, and fans give you legendary status. But Harry Kane needs trophies. Is Antonio Conte and Tottenham the right place to be? I don't know, but I certainly would love him. I would certainly love him at Manchester United. A lot of people talk about the Enzo deal looking dead in the water. Listen, we quoted a lot of journalists the other day that said this deal was done, as you could see in our videos. Those guys are going to be absolutely in the mud if this deal's off. But we'll report on that later. We're not going to delve into too much detail on that on this show. Where are Chelsea, Terry? You're doing them dirty. They're on the screen there, aren't they? They're in 10th. It ain't my fault where they are in the league. I can only fit if I scroll down any more, you pretty much lose the top of the table. It looks messy. I have to have it there. But Chelsea are on there. I can see them. But there we go. There we go. Let's have a little look at Terry. Okay, a lot of people talking about that on there. Let's have a look at a few more of these comments coming through here. Let's have a little look. Let's have a little look here. Guys, we'll talk about the Chelsea stuff later. This is not a Chelsea stream, so this we're talking about the football here, people, please. Terry, you talked about other journos reports. Now watch the chat call you a liar. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I quoted a journalist today, and I literally quoted the journalist's name, and everyone's like, "Well, who's the source?" I'm like, literally says via somebody, but yeah, that's on you, isn't it? First time since Southampton, we've been actually happy with the performance, despite going in at halftime 0-0 yet again. But fair play to them. Please build from it. And do you know what, Cal? I think that's just it. I think that's it. Like that's what you've got to look to do from that point. You know, that's what you've got to look to do, and how you've got to look to try and move on from this situation. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. Simple and as straightforward as that. But there we go. There we go. Hang on a second. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at some more of these comments here. You've accepted cookies. Now we can see Chelsea. Ah, is that what it is? Right, I accepted the cookies on the screen. I didn't realize what it was. Chelsea 10 points behind Man United. Damn. Yeah, they are as it stands right now. They are as it stands right now. Crystal Palace 4-0. What the F? I mean, listen, listen. Spurs should be able to do this. Let's just call it as it is. Spurs put in 3 or 4 goals past the Crystal Palace team, who sit where in the table? Where in the table? 12th on 22 points, -8 goal difference. I think they've only scored 16 goals in 17 games all season. Of course, Tottenham should be able to beat them. 4-0 is maybe a little excessive. 4-0 is maybe a little bit excessive. Of course, Tottenham should be able to beat them. The reason that Tottenham get bantered is because they should be a lot better than they are. They should win a lot more than they do. They've been beaten by a number of minnows. Now, they didn't have Richarlison or Bentancur or Kulusevski today, but they still won. And this is what they should have done to a large majority of teams that they've drawn against, lost against, and narrowly won games against in the last 10 matches. Spurs fans know this, you know this, and I know this. And like, I'm not shocked they've done it. I'm shocked they don't do it more. That's what I would say about Tottenham. That is what I would say about Tottenham. What did you think of Papa Sarr? I thought he came on and played well. It was an interesting one because that substitution happened, and I want to make sure I get the timings right on this. That happened at. Is he going to tell me? Here we go. He came on at the 66th minute of the game, and at that point, it was already just before they went 3-0 up. So he came on just before the third goal. So after that point, it was kind of easy pickings. They went 4-0 up 5 minutes later. So it wasn't a very difficult game for him, but I thought he looked tidy. I thought he looked good. I'm not gonna say he looked groundbreaking. And I thought, oh my god, wow, this looks like the next future star of English football, as in the Premier League football. But yeah, I thought he looked okay. Zaha was terrible. You know what, Claire? I'm going to say this. Zaha just looked like Zaha normally looks. Can Tottenham win Arsenal and Man City and Fulham playing this way? Tottenham can beat Arsenal at home. There's no doubt. And Tottenham can beat Man City because they've done it before. The interesting thing for Tottenham now is their coming games. Tottenham's coming games are mad, legitimately mad. When you look at their fixtures, so they play, forget the FA Cup, we're talking Premier League here. In the space of 5 games, so from the 15th of Jan until the 11th of February, they play Arsenal at home, City away, Fulham away, then they play City at home again, and then away to Leicester. I think that the next 5 games for Tottenham genuinely, sorry, not generally, genuinely will map out the course of the remainder of their season. It will either cement them into top 4. They come out of this with 4 wins and a draw, something mad like that. Or it will put them solidly in the top 4 race, or it ends their season. If they lose to Arsenal, lose to City, beat Fulham, lose to City, beat Leicester, if they get 6 points from a possible 15, I think by then the Newcastles, the Man Uniteds, and potentially Liverpool will have gone past them, and you're probably talking 10 to 12 points away from top 4 positions. So it's now massive for Tottenham, but today was a must-win game. It was a must-win game because in the next round of if they would have lost today and then Man United beat Man City in the Manchester derby, and then they lose to Arsenal, they could have found themselves 8 points behind Man United, with Man United having a game in hand. That's huge. That is huge. And they have to play City in short succession because of the postponed games, because of the Queen's passing. They play City twice in 3 match days. It's huge for them. It's absolutely massive. And if I'm being honest with you, I look at it from the point of view of the next sort of 3 to 4 games. I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now. The next 3 to 4 games in the Prem are going to shape up the home straight, and I'm so excited about it. It's going to be amazing. Why do Spurs think they will win against Arsenal? Well, I think Spurs have got every right to feel like they can. I know this year they've only won, I think, against Brighton and Fulham in the top half of the table. I give you that. But their home record against Arsenal has been amazing. And I know that Arsenal are a very different team this year to what we've seen in the past 4, 5, 6 years. But they've got a great home record against Arsenal. I think Tottenham should feel confident. They're entitled to feel confident, but it doesn't mean they're guaranteed to win. That is what I would say. But they have every single right to look and feel confident about what they may be able to do. I think that for me is what I would say is they have every right, in my opinion, to go into that game feeling like they can win. Any Spurs fan speaking with chest saying, I think we'll win. I think there's credibility in that. I think there's absolute credibility in them doing that. In my humble opinion. But that's just me. That's just me. That's just my take on it. But who am I? who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Terry, could you or KJ get back to me, please, regarding NordVPN? I did see a DM earlier. I'll have a little look at it, my friend, and I'll come back to you. Thank you very much for reminding me. Super chat here says, yeah, Enzo deal dead. They offered 85 million. Where is the 127? Well, this is the thing about these Enzo deals. I'll do some content on it later. As you saw in all our videos, we have quoted and listed all the journalists that have said this. So this is what you do. This is the reason why the Football Terrace does it, but some of you take it the wrong way. You've got, for instance, this Felix Johnson, who was being, a lot of big Chelsea aggregators were sharing his content. Everybody believed him. We just shared his news and said, this is what he said. Now we kind of know, maybe we don't trust him. I mean, I did invite him on the show. He never came back to me. But this is what we do. We put out everyone's news and then we see what sticks and what doesn't. And that's the point. That's why it's really safe being a fan channel rather than an in the know, because we don't have to be right or wrong. We just share the news. We share the content. We talk about it. So, yeah, interesting to see what happens. But what big push will Chelsea now have for Mudryk? That's going to be the interesting one off the back of that. Spurs are like the British weather, inconsistent is what Josh Loveless has got to say here. Cal says, we're lucky to drop points. We're likely to drop points in the next 5 anyway. So hopefully we win Saturday and focus on the cup. Yeah, listen, I mean, this is the thing. You got Portsmouth in the cup at home. You should win that fairly simplistically. Then it's Arsenal at home, and who knows after that? You know, you beat Arsenal at home and then beat City away, which is doable. Which is doable. Then you're talking about a situation where you might start looking at yourselves as outside title chance. That's legit. Win your next 3 Premier League games, Tottenham, and the world will look at you very differently. This is the time of the season now where where teams really start to make their mark on the league. You know, Arsenal have already made their mark. They are where they are. This is a real big opportunity. Real big opportunity. Exploder here says Chelsea 3-0 against the Gunners last home game. Yes, it was, as we saw. Nah, we're nowhere near the title race. I'm speaking hypotheticals, bro. I'm speaking in hypotheticals in relation to the way that the league could look, the confidence people could feel, and everything else. It's crazy times over the next few weeks. But no, I think with Tottenham, solid top 4 challenge or out of it over the next 5 games. That's my prediction. It's one or the other. You'll either do really well and you'll be sort of in the top 4, just outside it in the race, or you could find yourselves 8 to 12 points behind and feeling a little bit deflated. I think Tottenham again, either one of those ways. What do you think about pundits saying United could be in title challenges after 4 wins, whilst the whole season they questioned Arsenal? I think it's premature to call Man United title contenders. United, how they perform in the next 2 games may change people's minds, but even then, without proper investment in January. So if United beat City, beat Arsenal, sign Vlahovic, and he starts well, then maybe you can start to have that conversation. But it's too premature, too reactionary right now. United are in the top 4 race, definitely, but not the title race as of now. As of now, is what I think. What does this comment here say? Terry, last season, Cedric, Tavares, Holding, El Neni started for Arsenal. Now, I do hear you, PG. And Arsenal were a better team this year. But you're not listening to me, brother. You're not listening to the logic. You think Arsenal are going to win. That's what you think. And I think Arsenal have a massive chance of winning. All I'm suggesting is that if there's a Spurs fan that thinks, because of their home record against Arsenal, the derby factor, and they believe in their team, if they think they can win, that's not a crazy thought process to have. It's not like predicting Leighton Orient to go to the Etihad and win 3-0. You know, it's not a crazy take. It's just a different one. But that's all I'm saying. Terry, you're gonna be a mid-season team of the season. You're gonna do a mid-season. We did that just before the World Cup, bro. You should have watched our shows then. Just before the World Cup, we did our teams of the season so far. We did all of that on the top 6 show, my bro. The next 4 weeks will define the season of the Premier League, in my opinion. It's going to separate top 4 from the rest, and whoever else survives will be in title contention. Well, that's the way it could go. You could create a 3 or 4 team title race, which means there's no top 4 race, essentially. Maybe one place, right? It could go the other way. Arsenal could pull away, and everybody else could be in a top 4 race. So, yeah, it's going to be so interesting to see what happens. And we get this little break. It's very, very little break for the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. And then from the weekend of the 14th, which is only 10 days away, and we're still by the way, got Chelsea City tomorrow. And Chelsea City tomorrow is essentially the start of it. Or maybe you could argue Newcastle Arsenal was last night. Really. But tomorrow night, we get another spanner thrown into the works. Imagine Chelsea win. Imagine Chelsea win that game tomorrow night. Look at the league table. It means that Man United would be a point behind City level on games. It means Arsenal would be 7 points, 8 points clear level on games. You go into that derby weekend. Man United beat City. Arsenal beat Tottenham. Suddenly Arsenal are 11 points clear. If Arsenal then beat Man United, they can find themselves anywhere between 11 to 13, 14 points clear in 2 or 3 games time. So much could happen. No one knows what's going to happen. But that's why it's exciting. And I did say to someone on last night's stream, if you literally remove the if, buts, and maybes from football, where the hell would we be? Disagree about proper investment. You spent 170 million, 270 million. I don't know what you mean. You need to specify. I don't know what you're referring to right now. When you say proper investment, I need to know what you mean there, my brother. Can't deny that the pressure is on. This trophy is massive at this point, and rightfully so. Of course, Best case scenario is getting top 4 and winning it, but I can't help but feel it's one or the other. Yeah, and I think your club will push more for top 4 for Champions League football and the income that comes with it as opposed to winning trophies. But that's just my kind of feeling towards it. And you know, it is what it is. But I do kind of feel a little like I do feel a little bit like that. I do feel a little bit like that when it comes to you guys. But there we go. There we go. That's just me. Let's have a look at some more of your comments coming through here. People were saying United will finish sixth. Now they are thinking they are in title contention. Absolute clowns. Well, that's why I'm not doing it. If I'm being honest with you, that's why I'm really, really holding back from going in at that level. Does that make sense? That's why I'm holding back, and that's why I'm kind of sitting there and sort of essentially like saying to people, that's why I'm essentially out there and saying to people like, it's important to sort of remember that. Excuse me. I think it's important for people to kind of keep their feet on the ground with that. So I was reading something at the same time somebody sent through to me, and I wondered what it was. I thought it was going to be important, and it turned out to not be um, not be that important. Turned out to not be that. You know, sometimes you get those moments. Oh, what's this? Is this going to be a good thing? Is it going to be a bad thing? But there we go. There we go. Um, that's that. 1 second. I'm just reading. Sorry, people keep sending me these messages, and I don't know whether they're going to be important or not. And I'm like, let me just let's just see what's been said. Anyway, let's just crack on with what we're talking about here. Imagine after this couple of games, everything gets turned upside down. But that's it, bro. That's the exciting part. Imagine if it gets turned upside down. Imagine if it's on its head. Imagine if it's on its head. It would be absolutely sensational. Sensational if that was to be the case. It would. Chelsea OG here says 10th, won't panic. Been there before, won the league the next season, is what Chelsea OG said. This is true. United are winning at the Emirates, Terry. I don't know who you support, Johannes, but look, I'm not even honestly, as a Man United fan, I'm not even thinking that far ahead. It almost doesn't even make sense to think that far ahead, to plan that far ahead at all. But what the Spurs, it's one of those weird things. As a Man United fan, I wanted Spurs to lose tonight. Of course I did. I wanted that 5-point gap. As a football fan, as a content creator of the top six, as someone who enjoys the ebb and flow, Spurs winning tonight was the best thing that could have happened for football. Chelsea winning tomorrow night is the best thing that could happen for football. And then we go into this next round of games where Spurs play City twice, Spurs play Arsenal. I think City play Man United, Spurs twice, and Arsenal in like 6 games. Legit. I actually think that's true, you know. So like Chelsea, so let's have a look at this for a second. Sorry. Let me look at this for a second. Let me check this. Do they? I swear they do. So they play Chelsea tomorrow, sorry. Oh, then they have Chelsea in the FA Cup. I forgot about that. And then they play Man United, Tottenham, Arsenal. So in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Premier League games, Arsenal play Tottenham twice, Chelsea, and Man United. So 4 of their next 7 games are against top 6 opponents. Now, City could win all those matches. City could be out the title race in some people's eyes by the end of these 7 matches. They genuinely could. It's amazing. There's too many outcomes to even round them all up. And Spurs, United, Arsenal, they're all going to have a big, big say in what's going on. Terry, are you a closet Arsenal fan because of Jess? No, I'm not a closet Arsenal fan. And you maybe knew Newcastle till I die to the Terrace. But this time last year, I was being called a secret Chelsea fan. About 2 years ago, I was being called a secret Liverpool fan when I said they were the best team in the world. 3 or 4 years ago before that, people were, why are you saying City are so good? This is just what happened. You know, I celebrated. I was nearly in tears when Spurs won their semi-final in the FA Cup, because my dad's a Spurs fan and it was very emotional. I called a secret Spurs fan then. It's just what happens. I'm just professional and unbiased. So I'll call things as I see them. I'll congratulate where teams need to be congratulated, and I'll condemn where they need to be condemned. And I'll always give an honest opinion as opposed to a fan opinion. That's just me. Um, just read the Enzo deal is off. Yeah, listen, I've read a few. I'm going to read the stories. That news broke just so I went live. So I haven't read any of it yet. I'm very intrigued to go and see what the journalists that said they were going to bid 120, 127. All the journalists we've been quoting in the last few days. I'm very intrigued to see what their take on it is. Now the story is it's only going to be 85 million they've put out there. So very intriguing to see indeed. Very intriguing to see indeed. But there we go. Bear with me a second. Bear with me a second. Um, there we go. There we go. He did, Terry Tibbs. Yes, my dad is a Spurs fan. Yes, my dad's a very silly man as well. He had 5 boys that all love football, and he allowed us to pick whatever teams we wanted. And he ended up with one son who's a Gooner, one son who's Liverpool, one Man United, and 2 that are Leighton Orient. And the 2 that were Leighton Orient were Liverpool fans when they were younger. But when they got to about, and listen, I never advocate changing teams. But when they were like 14, 15, their view was they're probably never going to travel up to Liverpool to watch games regularly. So they kind of switched their allegiances to Leighton Orient. And we grew up opposite their stadium. So I actually think it's okay to change teams if you start supporting like a team much lower down the pecking order, you know? They didn't switch from supporting like Liverpool to supporting City. And they've been Leighton Orient season ticket holders ever since, home and away games and everything else. But yeah, my dad's weird. Like, my children have been forced into being United fans. They have no choice of the matter. But there we go. Arsenal getting put in a spliff in the North London derby is what's been said here. That's a big call. That is a big call. Terry, this and that. Look at the table in front of you. Who is at the top? Well, we know who's at the top. What's that got to do with anything? Like, what's that got to do with anything? That's not how it works, my friend. It's not how it works. Do Tottenham fans believe they beat all teams? Don't think so. I don't know what you mean there, Lucky Singh. I don't know what you mean there, my friend. I'd love to know what you actually mean by that comment. I really, really would. But there we go. Listen, my people, I appreciate you all tuning into the Terrace tonight. We're back tomorrow. Dean Jones, first thing in the morning. We'll have some content in the afternoon. I don't know what it will be yet, but we'll have some content dropping for you. On top of that, we will be live tomorrow evening after Chelsea versus Manchester City. So make sure you are tuning in. Thank you all very much for coming on the show tonight. Make sure you're hitting the like button before you leave, subscribing to the Football Terrace. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all